Welcome back to the deep dive. We take a big pile of research, articles, data, and boil it all down for you.
Yeah, get right to the core of what you need to know.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at a really fundamental shift, something big happening online. Creators taking back control. We're diving deep into the modern fan website, how people are turning that, raw fan excitement into real sustainable platforms in 2025. Platforms free from those crazy algorithms.
Right, getting off the social media treadmill.
Totally.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, you probably want the inside track on this. How does this whole thing work? How do you move your audience away from, say, Instagram or TikTok into a space you actually own?
And can actually make a living from reliably.
Yes, that's the key. It's about the infrastructure. So let's just start with the basics. What is the difference between like a simple fan page and what we're calling a fan page website?
Correct.
They sound similar.
Yeah, they do, but that distinction, it's absolutely critical. It really separates, let's say, a hobby from an actual business. See, a fan page, that's usually passive. It's typically just a spot on social media, right? You share updates, maybe some pictures, but you're basically a guest there on someone else's platform.
Okay, so you're playing by their rules.
Exactly. But a fan website, that's different. That's a whole ecosystem you build yourself. And it's designed for the long haul, for real engagement. Think blogs, private forums, maybe photo galleries, even your own online store built right in.
Right, so it's way more than just posting updates. It's like building a digital clubhouse.
That's a great way to put it. It's about hosting a community, not just broadcasting at them.
Okay, so what's here sounds pretty significant. You're saying these dedicated sites give creators things social media just can't.
Two huge things. First, direct monetization. No middleman taking a massive cut or changing the rules. And second, you control the experience. You structure your community how you want without waking up one morning to find the algorithm has decided nobody sees your stuff anymore.
The dreaded algorithm change.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Exactly. And the data backs this up. It's a fundamental shift from just, trying to sell stuff with ads to actually managing relationships. You own that communication channel.
You own the relationship itself.
Precisely. The fans feel more like stakeholders, not just eyeballs on an ad.
Okay, so owning the space is the goal. Where does someone actually start? It sounds kind of daunting. Is it about picking the right software first?
Well, actually, no. The sources are pretty clear on this. The tech comes later. The very first step, the one people often skip, surprisingly, is strategy. It's defining your niche.
The niche. Okay. Why is that so critical?
Because it's the bedrock. Everything else sits on top of it. If you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing special to anyone. Focusing on a specific niche means your content will resonate deeply. And, just as importantly, it makes that core group of fans feel like, this person gets me. They feel seen.
Right. But isn't it tempting to go broad? Like if I love video games, why not try and attract all gamers? Does the data really show that going super specific is better?
Oh, absolutely. The data strongly points towards hyper niche, especially for these dedicated sites. Think about it. A site covering all video games. You're competing with IGN, GameSpot, everyone. Huge uphill battle.
Yeah, impossible.
But a site dedicated only to, say, speedrunning obscure 16-bit RPGs. Now, that audience is much smaller, sure. Tiny, but incredibly passionate. And crucially, they're often willing to pay for super specific content or exclusive merchandise or access to a community that shares that very specific passion.
So it's not just about huge pop stars or Premier League football teams?
Not at all. We see successful fan sites built around really specific hobbies like advanced historical knitting techniques or restoring vintage Italian motorcycles.
Oh, okay.
The more focused you are, generally, the better your premium stuff converts.
Okay. Niche nailed down, then what? You need to figure out what the site actually does for this passionate group. We found sort of three main formats creators lean into. And often, they mix and match them, right?
Yeah, they often blend together, makes for a richer site.
So first up, they're the fan blog. This seems like the foundation. Your news, your stories, your analysis. If you like to write or inform, this is your core.
That's your content engine, basically. Keeps people coming back for updates.
Then, second, and you hinted this was key, the community hub.
Yes. This is where the magic often happens for long-term stickiness. We're talking forums, discussion boards, maybe private chat groups. This turns it from you just talking at people into a place where fans connect with each other. They build relationships around the topic. That's powerful.
That peer-to-peer thing.
Makes sense.
Creates real loyalty.
And the third format ties right into making this sustainable. The merch store.
Right. Direct sales.
Yeah.
T-shirts, posters, digital downloads, whatever fits your niche. So you combine these three The info, the community, the commerce, and you've got something that can actually grow and support itself.
Exactly. A sustainable ecosystem.
Okay, so the structure's there.
Yeah.
Blog, hub, store. But now the million-dollar question, sometimes literally. How do you turn this passion project, which costs time and money, into actual reliable income? What are the main ways creators are monetizing in 2025?
Right, and it's moving beyond just slapping ads everywhere, thankfully. The sources really emphasize a psychological shift. Fans aren't just paying for, like, an article anymore. They're paying for connection, for proximity, maybe even a little influence.
Influence. How so?
Well, they want to feel heard, have their loyalty mean something. That's almost impossible in a giant social media feed's comment section, right?
True. Just shouting into the void.
Yeah. So the first and maybe most reliable tool is using loyalty and exclusivity. Think tiered subscriptions or memberships. People pay a monthly or yearly fee, and they get special access. Maybe early content drops, maybe private Q&A sessions, maybe behind-the-scenes stuff.
For the real diehard fans.
Exactly. They see it as investing in you, in the thing they love.
Okay, subscriptions make sense. What else?
Then you have appreciation and projects. This covers things like donations and crowdfunding.
Ah, like a tip jar.
Sort of. Sometimes fans just want to say thanks or support you without signing up for a monthly thing. A simple donation button lets them do that. It's a quick way to show support. And crowdfunding is great for specific goals. Maybe you want to run a fan event or buy better recording gear. Fans can chip in and feel like they directly helped make it happen. They become investors in the outcome.
Okay, that direct investment feels different. And the third tool connects to the store idea.
Right. E-commerce and scarcity. Your site becomes its own little specialized shop. T-shirts, prints, maybe digital guides. But where it gets really interesting now is adding scarcity, especially digital scarcity.
You mean like NFTs? That word still confuses a lot of people. How are creators using those without it feeling scammy or alienating regular fans?
That's a really good point, and it's evolving fast. It's less about just selling digital art, although that exists. For fan communities, the NFT often works more like a unique key or a pass.
A key?
Yeah. Owning it might grant you, say, lifetime membership status or special voting rights on what the community does next, or access to super exclusive online or even real-world events.
Ah, so it's about utility within the community, not just collecting a picture.
Exactly. It translates digital ownership into actual influence or access within that niche group. And for the right fans, that's incredibly valuable.
And what's cool now in 2025 is that these tools are getting easier to use, right? Platforms are bundling them.
Definitely. That integration is key. We're seeing platforms like Skrill is one example the sources mentioned. They come with built-in options for subscriptions, donations, selling exclusive content. It's all in one place.
Which means less technical headache for the creator trying to juggle 5 different payment systems and logins.
Takes away a lot of the friction, absolutely. It makes it easier to just focus on the fans and the content.
Okay, that makes sense. But hang on. If everyone moves to these all-in-one platforms, aren't we just swapping dependency on Facebook for dependency on, say, Skrill? What about vendor lock-in?
That's a very sharp question. Yeah. And it's a real consideration for creators thinking long term. These integrated platforms are fantastic for getting started, for removing those initial hurdles. But yeah, you need to weigh the ease of use now against potential lack of flexibility or control down the road.
So maybe view them as a launch pad, not necessarily the final destination.
That seems to be the savvy approach, especially once you start really scaling up.
Which is perfect, because scaling is exactly where we need to go next. So you've got your niche, your site's humming along, community's growing. What's needed to take it from a cool website to a real platform?
Right. Growth means more interaction. It's not just the forum anymore. You need to layer in more dynamic features. Things like integrated live streaming right on your site, calendars for events, both online and maybe offline meetups. And this is crucial. Avenues for fan content.
Letting fans upload their own stuff.
Yes. Let them share their own artwork, their fan fiction, their videos related to the niche. It does 2 amazing things. Gives you a constant stream of new content, often for free, and it massively boosts engagement because fans feel like they're co-creating the space. They're participants, not just spectators.
That makes a ton of sense. And when your audience gets big and engaged enough, that's when outside opportunities start knocking, right? Like partnerships.
Exactly. External partnerships. Suddenly, sponsors or brands that fit your very specific niche might become interested.
Because you have this concentrated group of passionate people.
Precisely. So you might get sponsorship deals?
Yeah.
Or you could coordinate with a brand to offer exclusive rewards just for your members, like early access to a product or a special discount.
And affiliate marketing fits in here too.
For sure. If there are products or services your audience genuinely uses and loves, you can recommend them and earn a commission. Because your niche is so defined, those recommendations feel authentic, not just random ads. Much more effective.
But with all this growth comes growing pains, right? Especially on the tech side.
Oh, absolutely. That's the flip side. More traffic, more features. It puts strain on the foundation. This is where you have to invest in scalable technology and hosting.
Meaning moving off that basic web hosting plan.
Definitely. The sources really hammer this point. Forget the cheap shared hosting or maybe even the simpler website builders you started with. You need to look at more robust solutions. Maybe dedicated cloud hosting, like using AWS, or moving to a more powerful, specialized system, perhaps what they call a headless CMS.
Okay, tech talk, but the goal is simple.
The goal is performance. The site needs to load instantly, whether 100 people are on it or 10,000 are hitting it during a big announcement. That speed, that reliability, it's vital for keeping users happy and also for keeping the search engines happy.
Right, search engines.
Yeah.
SEO. We've talked about bypassing social media, but people still need to find you in the first place, don't they?
Yeah.
How critical is good old SEO for these fan sites?
It's still incredibly important. SEO, search engine optimization, is how new fans discover you organically, people who aren't already following you somewhere else. If your site is technically sound and has great content, when someone searches Google for, best tips for vintage car restoration, you want your site showing up near the top.
Right. Because you're not relying on a viral tweet anymore.
Exactly. If your hosting is slow or the site's poorly structured, Google might bury you. So even though you're building your own space, you still need that discoverability engine working for you. Technical setup matters for finding new fans.
Okay, so that scalability, that SEO performance, it really comes back to the software foundation we choose. So what are the tools making this easier now? You mentioned Skrill earlier as an example of this all-in-one trend.
Yeah, there's definitely a move towards platforms built specifically for this creator community commerce model, rather than trying to cobble together generic tools. They're designed to solve these problems: engagement, monetization, text scaling together.
So Skrill, for instance, is positioned that way.
Yeah.
As a complete package for creators.
That's how it's presented in the materials, yes. As an all-in-one for handling the community side, the content delivery, and all those monetization tools we talked about.
And the big appeal is making it easy, right? Lowering that barrier to entry.
That seems to be the main selling point. Addressing that complexity issue you raised, you supposedly don't need to be a coding genius or spend a fortune up front. The idea is you pick a template, customize it with your branding, add your content, and you're kind of ready to go relatively quickly.
So the tech just gets out of the way.
That's the goal. They talk about clean design, making sure it works great on phones automatically, being built with SEO in mind from the start. It lets the creator focus on what they actually do best, creating great content and exciting their fans. That's their real edge, not fiddling with server configurations.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Which brings us towards wrapping up. Let's distill the key takeaways. If you're listening and thinking, okay, I want to do this, remember the core mission. First, define that super specific niche. Second, design the experience blog, hub, store. Third, integrate the monetization smoothly.
Nail those three, and you've got a solid foundation.
And we pulled a quick checklist from the sources too, for keeping the site alive and engaging once it's built. Keep the content fresh, can't let it get stale. Use good images and videos, connect your socials so people can find it, and really push interaction forums, chats, live streams. Make it feel like a place to hang out, not just read.
Build the community feel, definitely. But before anyone rushes off to launch, there's one crucial thing we have to mention: the legal side.
Ah, yes. Good point. Can you actually just make a fan site about anything or anyone?
Generally speaking, making a fan site about a public figure or a well-known book series or a hobby, that's usually okay. It falls under things like commentary or fandom. But, and this is a huge but, you absolutely must be careful about copyright.
Meaning you can't just use their official photos or music.
Exactly. Using copyrighted material, official music tracks, movie clips, promotional images without permission or the proper license, that's a fast track to legal trouble, a cease and desist letter, or worse.
So, respect intellectual property. It's not just polite, it's essential for the site to actually survive.
It's foundational, non-negotiable, if you want this to be sustainable.
Okay, excellent critical advice there. This whole shift, moving away from relying on the big platforms, building your own space, owning that direct fan relationship, It really feels like one of the most exciting things happening online right now.
It really does. And it leaves us with a big question, something for you, the listener, to think about. Given that these fan websites are specifically built to get around social media algorithms to create these custom communities, how will their continued growth really change things over, say, the next 5 years? Could we see a fundamental shift in content distribution and ownership? Power moving decisively away from the big networks back into the hands of individual creators? And how will those big networks even respond?
Lot to chew on there as you maybe start sketching out ideas for your own fan empire. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. We really hope this helped you get a handle on how this modern fan website approach works and maybe what your first steps could be. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.